All right, I think we can start the session. Gavin?
Okay, so sorry, can you all hear me?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
good. So very warm welcome to very warm welcome to all parents and potential students and visitors. As well as thank you to all the professors for joining us today. So my name is Gavin. I'm a year 2 CB student. I'm a year 2 CB student with second major in business, and together with me is Wen Yan from CBC year 3, and we will be your host for today. So just to share a little bit of more background about myself. So I'm from Singapore Polytechnic, and I'm also in the CCEB Club Academic Welfare Subcommittee, as well as the Hall Japan and Social Subcommittee. So I decided to pick CB because I previously did chemical engineering in Poly, and I found it very interesting. And I thought that by going to NTU, because NTU caters more towards biopharmaceutical industry as well, it will be better for me to further my studies here. So maybe Wen Yan, would you like?
Okay. Oh. My Wi-Fi is a bit bad, so I hope everyone can hear me. Yeah, I hope it's fine. Okay. So hi everyone, I'm Wen Yan. I'm a year 3 CVC student currently. And I'm also the current CCB Club Vice President for Communications. My background is that I was from JC. I took PCME, which is quite a basic set of subjects, but yeah. And I'm also a WSC member. Yes. So yeah, if you have any questions pertaining any of our attributes, do feel free to reach out to us. Yes. Okay, so next, I think we can briefly talk about the program flow. Okay, sorry, give me a moment. The slides are not turning over. Okay, so yes, okay, we have done the welcome and introduction. So we will have Dr. Sumod and Professor Raymond talk about our undergraduate programs. All your students and parents can feel free to ask them questions pertaining to those subjects. Prof. Tan would share about student life, and we would also have a CCB club sharing done by our dear president, Qi Yuan, and also the vice president for student life, Crystal. And there will be a Q&A at the end. Okay, without further ado, I would invite Dr. Sumod to share with us his sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Wen Yan. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yep.
Okay, let me share my slides. Give me a moment. Okay, I hope all of you can see my slides. Yeah, okay. So my name is Sumod, and myself, along with my colleague, Professor Raymond Lau, who is online and joining us online today, we take care of the undergraduate program, the academic program in the newly formed School of Chemistry, Chemical Engineering, and Biotechnology, right? So I'll give you a brief introduction of the school because it's a newly set up school by NTU. Set up jointly by the College of Engineering and the College of Science. So as you can see, we offer 3 programs under this new school: bioengineering, chemical and biomolecular engineering, and chemistry and biological chemistry. The first 2 under engineering being a BEng, Bachelor of Engineering degree, and the third one under the College of Science being a Bachelor of Science degree. But all 3 are 4-year direct honors programs. Okay, so let me just briefly show what the rationale behind the setting up of this new school. So previously, the chemistry program in NTU was known as CBC and was under the School of Physical and Mathematical Sciences. And the engineering programs, the 2 engineering programs I mentioned, were under the School of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering. So what has happened is in last August, we have set up a new school which brings together all 3 programs under the same umbrella, right? And the reason why we did that is what is you can see on the screen there, is to basically bring to leverage upon the synergies of the three programs that we have, and to encourage more synergy between the engineering and the science programs, right? So the aim is that this will benefit education and research. I will briefly tell later on how it benefits the students. And it also accelerates collaboration at the research level between the various programs, which again benefits students who do research projects and stuff like that under the new school. Okay, right. So just a brief overview. The 3 direct honors programs that I referred to are these: the bioengineering, chemical and biomolecular engineering, and the chemistry and biological chemistry, and the respective codes that you can see on the screen, which you use during your application process, right? And we offer a variety of programs, and these include what you can see is the single degree program, right? And also minors, double degree, second majors, and also some special programs like the scholars program and some specializations. So during this talk today, I will not be able to touch upon in detail about the structure and all the details of all these programs, because as you can see, we have a lot of programs here. So I will summarize the key points of every program. But if you would like to know more about any of the programs and the curriculums in more detail, you can visit our website. You just key into Google CCEB NTU, and you should reach our homepage. And once you reach our homepage, you can navigate to the relevant part of the page where you can get details like what courses are there under each of the programs, what are the different second majors that we offer, what are the minors that we offer, and also information about the 2 double degree programs under the engineering program. Okay. So feel free to do that, but I'll try to summarize some of the key points in the subsequent slides. Okay, so one of the first things that people ask usually is, what is the difference between chemical engineering and chemistry, right? So if you look at chemistry, chemists are usually involved in the downstream part of the discovery, which means that the chemists are usually involved in discovering and modifying existing molecules, analyzing them, confirming their structure, that what you made is pure, what is the structure that you expect is what is actually being synthesized. And then we study physical properties and stuff like that. So chemistry deals with the fundamental level of discovery, right, in the realm of chemical science. So chemists and chemical engineers work hand in hand. So as far as chemical engineering is concerned, it is dealing more with stuff like turning new ideas into discovery in the realm of chemical science, and to make products at a larger scale in a very efficient manner, which is also marketable, right? So the key aspects in the chemical engineering program focuses on, therefore, on things like operations and management and optimization of processes and plants, and generating bulk production of chemicals. The second question that usually people ask is, what is the difference between bioengineering, biological science, and biological chemistry? Okay, so bioengineering and biological science are programs that are offered under CCEB, under our school, right? Whereas biological science in NTU is offered by the School of Biological Science, SBS, is a separate program, right? So bioengineering basically is the application of engineering principles in the field of biology, healthcare, and medicine. Okay, that's the summary. So what they do, what bioengineers do, is to manufacture products and technology that improve the quality of human life. Okay, so it's closely linked with bio. You use bio knowledge, then you apply it along with your engineering knowledge to make useful products and useful technologies, useful methodologies, which help with healthcare in general. Okay. Biological science, on the other hand, is basically concentrating on the anatomy and physiology of cells and living organisms. So that means it concentrates on studies at the cellular and organism level. Okay, whereas biological chemistry studies microscopic level biomolecules. Biomolecules like proteins, lipids, carbohydrates. These are things that have a role in the physiology of organism functions. But in biological chemistry, you study it at the molecular level. You understand these molecules that contribute to the biological function. You also understand how you can synthesize modified and new molecules which can serve the same purpose, right? So that's a rough summary of the difference between the various, because this is a question that commonly comes up when you're applying for various programs, right? Which program is right for you? Now, a very brief look at the curriculum structure of our programs. So you have what is called right at the top, you have what is called major requirements, right? The ones in red, where you can see that it consists of two parts: a core, which is the courses that you compulsorily have to read in order to gain competence in your area of your particular degree, and also major prescribed electives, which are a group of courses from which you can pick, which allows you to study your area in much more depth. Okay, so these courses consist of final year project, professional internship, as well as the regular lecture courses, as well as intense laboratory training courses. Okay, then you have what is called the Common Foundational Interdisciplinary Collaborative Core, or what is known, more well known among NTU students as ICC. These are courses which are taken by every student across NTU, irrespective of their program. And the intention of these courses is to inculcate soft skills in our students, soft skills like communication, awareness of the developments in the digital world, sustainability related issues, and so on and so forth, right? And then the last category that you can see at the bottom is the broadening and deepening electives. So as the name suggests, this helps you to broaden and provide you a more holistic education. So you can, for example, the courses under this set can allow you to take courses like Japanese language, or maybe economics or political science, whatever, right? And you can also use these courses also to deepen, in the sense that you can choose a course which further goes deeper into your program of interest or in area of interest. Okay, this set can also be used for other purpose, like is mentioned there, for double majors, second majors, and minors. All right, so that's a rough structure, the overall structure, and the percentages by which we divide it. Now, I referred to professional internship earlier on, which is one of the key parts of our curriculum. And what we have is arrangement with various multinational companies as well as small and medium enterprises in Singapore, whereby you can do an internship which is as part of your curriculum with these companies. So these names that you see here, some of them are very familiar to you and are multinational. These are the places where NTU students and our CCEB students typically do their internship, right? Usually the bigger internship in the final year. So this gives you real life experience of applying what you, not only applying what you learned to an actual real life situation in an industry, but also to pick up soft skills that are needed when working in a team in an actual work environment. So that's the purpose of the professional internship. We also conduct the Career Attachment Office, in collaboration with the school, also conducts significant amount of talks like career talks, alumni sharing, networking events, and industry visits, which you can participate in throughout your 4 years of stay with us, right? These again allow you to broaden your horizon on what is out there in the actual workplace and prepare you better for future job applications and stuff like that. There is also another component of the curriculum which concentrates on research. And this is the final year research project, or in some engineering courses, it's called the final year design project. The purpose is for you to allow you to work on cutting edge areas in research under the expert guidance of our faculty members. So our faculty members across the 3 programs in the whole school, they work on a large or a wide variety of research areas, which is in the cutting edge of modern research. And this gives you the research project, the final year research project gives you an opportunity to work in an actual research lab on an ongoing research project, right? So that is another aspect that is taken care by the curriculum. Now, I mentioned earlier that besides the single degree program, the 3 single degree programs, we also have second majors. So second major is basically a set of prescribed courses that you take on top of your single degree course requirement, which gives you sort of competence and expertise in a specific area. So this is something that you can opt. It's not compulsory, right? So if you choose to pursue a second major and you're eligible for a second major, we offer a wide range of second majors. For example, we have data analytics, as the name suggests, it's a modern, it's a current field, which is, spreading faster into every realm of science and technology. So we offer a second major in data analytics, a second major in entrepreneurship in collaboration with the Nanyang Business School, right? And another second major that we offer is in sustainability, right? Where you learn about not only the scientific aspects of sustainability, but also the economic and political aspects which dictate sustainability policies and issues. We also have another one in business, again, run in collaboration with the Nanyang Business School, and one in food science and technology, which we run in collaboration with a very, very famous university, well known for its food science program, the Wageningen University in the Netherlands. So as part of this program, you get to read courses taught by professors from Wageningen. And you also, if you choose, you can get a chance to go over to the Netherlands to attend a short period of overseas immersion. There are these two second majors that you see now on the screen are not open to all programs, but the pharmaceutical engineering second major is offered to the BIE students. It's not available for the CBE students because most of the courses in the second major are already part of the CBE curriculum. And we also have another second major, which is open to the science students, the chemistry and biological chemistry students, which is in environmental science. And this is run in collaboration with the Asian School of Environment and the School of Civil and Environmental Engineering. So it studies issues like environmental pollution and also as some components of sustainability related to the chemistry degree. You can also do a minor. So if you want, you can choose a single major and then you choose to do a minor. And a minor choice is very wide. You can choose a minor in any of these areas that you see on the screen, which basically encompasses most of the programs that we have in NTU, right? So by reading a small number of courses, about 4 to 5 courses, you can gain a minor along with your major degree, right? It's very doable. The workload is less. However, for the second major and the double degree, the course load is much heavier, obviously. Another opportunity you get during your stay with us is the option to go on international exchange. There are various formats of exchange that are available. Some are short, some are a semester long. And you also get to do, if you choose exchange within Singapore under the program which we call the Singapore University Student Exchange Program. So you can read some courses, for example, in SUTD or in NUS or SIT for that matter, and you get to carry over some of the credits. Okay, so the aim of the exchange program is not only to read courses which are not available in your home university, but also to get exposure to an international culture and to appreciate and understand working with people from different nationalities, right? Okay, now let's look at some of the employment-related data. So this is for the BIE program. You can see the various industries where the BIE students are usually employed. And in the middle are the top occupations that BIE students get employed in and the employers that usually take in. But this is not an exhaustive list. It's just a very concise list of some of the areas and some of the companies that take in our students. Okay. And this data is, of course, available from what is really available on the web from the Graduate Employment Survey. So you can see that the employment rate and the kind of period by which our students get the number of percentage of students who get employed within 3 to 4 months after graduation, it's very high. It's about 90%. And you can see also the salary data and stuff. And this is for the BIE program. The same data for the CBE, the chemical engineering program, right? The major industries, as you can see, electronic products, products manufacturing, and areas like that. And the students get employed as production engineers and chemical engineers and manufacturing engineers. And the companies that you see on the right-hand side, bottom of the screen, are the multinationals that employ our students. You can also see NTU is also in the list because there are various research institutes and research programs on campus which absorb our own graduates. And that is the salary data, and the employment rate, again, you can see is 90%. And then the acceptance offer within 3 to 4 months is again very high. And this is for the chemistry program. Similarly, top industries is pharma and bio, as expected, science and R&D, chemical manufacturing, healthcare. Occupations is as chemists, research officers, and life science professionals. And the top employers are the list that you see on the right-hand side. Okay, so another aspect of a curriculum is that how well is the curriculum recognized internationally? So when you say about a curriculum being recognized internationally, it also involves, right, how visible is our program and the quality of our program to international partners, whether it is overseas universities or companies, right? So you can see on the ranking list on the leftmost side of the screen, which is the ranking in 2022 for the engineering and technology areas, NTU is ranked 4th. So this consists of programs like biomedical engineering, bioengineering, and related for all the science and technology programs in NTU. So we are ranked 4th in the world. And if you look at area-specific rankings, which is available for chemical engineering and chemistry, you can see that for both these rankings, our program at CCEB is ranked 7th in the world, right? And you can see the kind of institutions that are above and below in this list. And you can see the quality of that institutions, which makes you appreciate more the ranking and how relevant it is. Okay, we will, I think I have taken up probably my allotted time now, but do not worry, because later on, subsequently, we will be having a question and answer session. So whatever questions you have related to the topics that I've discussed now, or beyond that, you will have an opportunity later on to address it via the chat. Okay, so with that, I will end my presentation. Yeah, I'll see you again in the question and answer session. Okay, I'll hand it back to the host.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sumod. Professor Raymond, do you happen to have your slides?
I will attend to the Q&A session.
Okay. Okay, so I think we would move on to Professor Tan Meng Hao. Yeah, Prof. Tan, the stage is yours.
All right, great. Thanks a lot. Let me quickly share my screens. Okay. All right, so hi everyone. I'm Meng Hao, the Associate Chair for Students. So happy to see so many of you here. Okay, so then just wanted to reiterate that, you know, our school really is probably the newest kid on the block, and then it is the first time I believe in Singapore's history that we have a university in school, a school in the university that combines basic science with the engineering disciplines. And the rationale for doing that is that, you know, this is beginning to be quite difficult to separate exactly what is basic science and what is engineering, because very often people working on basic science are also thinking about how to translate their fundamental understanding to for example, products or you know, what have you that can impact the society. And then whereas engineers have to also understand the fundamental principles underlying what they are trying to make or manufacture. So then, you know, it was decided that, you know, NTU is going to set up this school by merging, bring together chemistry with chemical engineering and bioengineering. Okay, and then this model is actually not entirely new because at some of the top universities around the world, like Caltech and Berkeley, chemistry is actually also with chemical engineering in the same departments. So we are also following some of the best practices. Okay, so then I think Sumot has already kind of pointed out, highlighted that, you know, there are a lot of opportunities for CCEB graduates. And indeed, if you look at the industry transformation maps from MTI, right, you can see that, you know, there's a lot of emphasis on, you know, energy and chemicals industry, healthcare industry, food manufacturing, and so on. And that's where our graduates are actually very well trained for. And then, you know, there's a lot of very exciting figures from EDB as well. As you can see here, there's a lot of investments in all these sectors, billions of dollars, thousands of jobs that are available. So then it places our graduates in a very, very good positions. So just wanted to give you guys a few examples of some of the industry jobs out there. So this slide here is on energy and chemicals. Okay, so then the first example is on the BASF, which is the world's largest producer of chemicals. It's founded in the 1920s, based in Germany. Today, they hire over 100,000 people around the world. Half of them are, of course, based in Germany, and the remainder are scattered around the world. And, you know, they produce all sorts of chemicals, from dyes to acids to, you know, ammonia bases and what have you. Okay, so then they decided to set up plants in Singapore. Okay, and then the second example is the Total Energies, which is a French company. It's actually I believe it's the third largest oil and gas company behind ExxonMobil and Shell. And then they have also decided to set up the Asia Pac HQ in Singapore as well. And then this slide here gives you another two examples on energy and chemicals. SEB is from Saudi Arabia. It's also a very large MNC producing chemicals like polymers and so on. And then NES is an oil and gas company set up in the 1940s in Finland. It was set up by the Finland's government due to national security over concerns about, you know, whether Finland can secure enough oil and gas. But since then, of course, they have expanded tremendously, and they are also in Singapore as well. So beyond oil and gas, of course, we have booming medtech industry. So before the pandemic, we have Perkin-Elmer coming in to set up an instrument manufacturing facility in Singapore. So if you have been doing, you know, research, you know, in a bio-related lab, chances are you have used an instrument that is manufactured by Perkin-Elmer, because they are a very big leading American medtech company. So they are here in Singapore, in the GTC MedTech Hub in Jurong. Okay, and then of course the pandemic came, and then, you know, we have seen a lot of exciting action, you know, from the scientific community in Singapore. So a lot of, you know, new inventions from, you know, NUS, A-Star, and of course NTU. You know, we have been developing things like Mars, new diagnostic assays, you know, pharyngeal swabs, antibody treatments, so on and so forth. Okay, so then, you know, this medtech space is very exciting. I'd like to particularly highlight this breath analyzers, codename Tracy X, which was actually developed by a faculty member in our school. And then basically you breathe into a cartridge, and then, you know, there will be an instrument that tells you in a minute or so whether you are COVID positive or not. Okay, so then this, as you can see here, you know, was, you know, trialed in Parliament. You can see PM Lee trying it out himself. And then it was also trialed at Changi Airport. Okay, so then the technology has been spun off into a company called Silver Factory. All right, so then this is an example of, you know, some of the exciting things that are going on in our school. Okay, so beyond medtech, of course, there's the pharma and biotech industry. And then of course here we have many MNCs that are present. So for GSK has set up a huge manufacturing facility very close to NTU. And then the second example below is GenScript. So GenScript is a company that synthesizes or produces recombinant proteins and oligonucleotides. So then, if you been doing research in a bio-related lab, chances are you have been buying oligos from either this company called IDT or from GenScript. Okay, so GenScript is one of the big players in oligosynthesis, and they are setting up this, or they have already set up this manufacturing facility in Singapore. Okay, so then of course, with COVID, there's all this excitement about vaccines. So as you can see here, the big players have pretty much set up manufacturing sites in Singapore. So BioNTech is in the process of setting up its manufacturing facility here to manufacture its vaccines. And then we have Filament Labs that are also growing its operations in Singapore. So it's very exciting, and all these vaccine manufacturers are of course looking to hire chemical engineers and so on to operate their plants. Okay, so then looking ahead, of course, we are now in this decades where we are always talking about sustainable, and circular bioeconomy. And then, there are many global challenges facing us today. Then, of course, we have climate change. We have to tackle climate change, environmental pollution. And of course, the world's population is growing tremendously. And that leads to a growing demand for food and energy. Okay, so we will, of course, need to have, innovative solutions, okay, to tackle, all these growing demands for food and energy, right? So then here are some, examples of innovative solutions that have been developed. Okay, so then of course, I'm sure many of you have tried this Impossible Burger, right? So it's made of a fake, well, some people call it fake meat, right? And then it's supposed to taste like meat, right? And then now you have milkless ice cream and so on, right? So animal-free products are basically already coming to our dining table. Okay, so then in the petrochemical space, the big petrochemical companies are of course very concerned about carbon tax, and then the downside of fossil fuels and so on. So they have been also looking at alternative sources of fuels. So ExxonMobil, for example, is collaborating with synthetic genomics, to look at algae strains to produce biofuels. Okay, so the third example here is on chocolates. So I'm sure every one of us likes to eat chocolates, right? But then the cacao plant, unfortunately, is very susceptible to disease. Okay, so then the Mars, the company that produces the chocolates, is collaborating with IGI, okay, which is situated in Berkeley, directed by Jennifer Doudna, who won the Nobel Prize for CRISPR, okay, to basically genetically engineer the cacao plant to be more resistant to the disease. Okay, so these are some of the innovative solutions that are happening around the world. So of course, our faculty are also at the forefront of all this scientific research. So here are some examples. Okay, at the top you can see Prof. Mary Chan, who has developed a smart food packaging that is derived from natural biopolymers. Okay, and then she infused it with antimicrobial compounds. So you can see here the food packaging, is used to wrap around strawberries, which you can show that it helps to extend the lifespan of the strawberries. Okay, so then of course we also have William. William Chen is our food guru and probably Singapore's leading expert in food. So he's very good at upcycling food waste. And then here's an example where he can take discarded durian husks and convert them into antibacterial gel bandages. Okay, so here's two examples of on the waste recycling. Okay, so the top one features Zhao Ming, one of our faculty, who is working with collaborators to convert electronic waste to petri dishes. So of course, biology labs use petri dishes to grow cells, right? So we generate a lot of plastic waste, right? So then, Zhao Ming and his collaborators are able to generate new types of petri dishes from electronic waste. And then NTU actually also have a waste to energy facility in Tuas. that basically takes some of the trash from campus and convert it, into useful materials like syngas and construction materials. Okay, so one of our faculty members, Paul, is involved in this effort as well. Okay, so then on the medtech space, on the top you can see Chen Peng, who have invented a skin patch comprising hundreds of microneedles that can help to deliver drugs transdermally directly to the fat under the skin. Okay, so then this is a very interesting technology, that he's also trying to commercialize. And then below here shows Tram, a young faculty who is developing a method to encapsulate pancreatic beta cells that can subsequently be transplanted into diabetic patients so that the beta cells can secrete insulins. Okay, so basically here, just wanted to give you guys a flavor of some of the exciting research that's going on in our school. And then of course undergrads are encouraged to approach faculty to do some research as well if you are interested. Okay, so then beyond research, we also try our best to support students in pursuing their interests. So here are some examples of the different activities that we have. We have makerspace, biomakerspace. We have a food waste conversion activity, and then we have Zymergy Guild, so on and so forth. Okay, so in the makerspace, we have state-of-the-art 3D printers where students can basically manufacture, whatever they want. And then the students involved in makerspace, regularly hold workshops, for example, Arduino workshops, additive manufacturing workshops, 3D printing workshops, and so on, to try to impart some of the skills to the general student population. All right, so then beyond makerspace, okay, so we also have Enata. So Enata is analytics and data. So this is for students who are very interested in computing, right? So now, of course, data is people say data is a new engine, a new oil, right, for the economy engine, right? So then the Enata group organizes workshops on, all sorts of very useful computational skills like machine learning, Python programming, data structures, data visualization, and so on. Okay, so then if you are interested in computing, you can join this interest group to brush out on your computing knowledge. Okay, so then here is a slide on our food waste conversion project. So here the students are using black soldier fly larvae to digest food waste. Okay, so the larvae are quite interesting because they are voracious eaters. They can consume up to 10 times their body weight. Okay, and then so they help to get rid of waste, and then the students have been going around campus to collect food waste and then feeding it to the larva. Okay, and then the larva can also be used to produce fertilizers, animal feeds, and then also useful biomaterials like chitins can be extracted from the pupa and so on. And currently, we are trying to set up some equipment to enable our students to genetically engineer the larva, okay, to enhance their survivability and utility and so on. Okay, and then this next slide is on our Zymergy Guild. So this is a pretty popular activity because it involves fermentations. And then, of course, when you talk about fermentation, you can think about the beer that comes along with it. Okay, so the students can ferment whatever they want. So they can ferment beer, kombucha, kimchi, so on and so forth. And then we also have 25-liter bioreactors that the students can use to scale up. Okay, so let's say if some students have ambitions for for licensing or for some kind of business plan, right? They want to scale up, so they can do so using the bioreactors. Okay, so then every year the Zymergy Guild will hold beer brewing competitions. It's also a very popular activity. And very frequently we are able to obtain sponsorship from the industry. Okay, and then the different breweries often like to send their own people down to be judges for our own beer brewing competitions. And when I talk to some of the judges, they tell me that they enjoy coming down because then they can taste some of the students' beer, and then if they have they find anything that they like, they can potentially take it back to their own breweries and so on and reproduce it there. Okay, so besides the beer brewing competition, we also hold the Chemica competition. So the Chemica I think originates from the US, okay, but then we also have been holding it in our school. So here teams of students will try to engineer cars driven by chemical reactions, okay, to perform certain tasks. Usually is to transport things from one place to another. Okay, so here you can see some of the cars that have previously been made by different student groups. Okay, and sometimes we are able to obtain sponsorship, for example, from Microns. Okay, so this is the Chem E-Car competition. All right, then there's also another competition that our students are involved in, and this is the iGEM synthetic biology competitions. So this is actually quite a big competition that has been around for, I think, close to 20 years now. And then usually, more than 300 universities around the world, including all the big research universities will take part. And then teams of students will basically embark on projects related to synthetic biology. So, the students will engineer, for example, living cells, enzymes, for all sorts of useful applications, in healthcare, manufacturing, energy, food, so on and so forth. Okay, so all sorts of biomedical and biotech applications, making use of, engineering of living cells and enzymes. Okay, so then this you can see that the students are very excited because they get to travel to Boston in November to present their work in front of a panel of judges. Okay, so then there are other opportunities for students to travel overseas. Sumo has mentioned the exchange programs. And then there's also another initiative called the Overseas Community Exposure Project. I think this is organized at the NTU level, where students get to go to places to perform community service. Okay, so then of course in COVID, this initiative was suspended, but I think they are resuming already. So then these pictures are from the year just before the pandemic. Okay, where the students went to Myanmar. Okay, to do community service. Here they are improving the water drainage system, and then they also give lessons to the underprivileged kids. Okay, so in NTU, our school, we try to organize industry visits and invite alumni back for sharing sessions. Okay, so here you can see some of the industry visits that we have conducted in the past. For example, here at the top middle picture, I actually brought some students to visit Insecta. Okay, Insecta is a BSF startup, black soldier flies startup. Okay, so we wanted to go there to learn from them how they rear their larvae and how they rear the flies and so on. I think the students had a great time learning from the co-founder. So the girl in the picture is actually the co-founder of Insecta. Okay, and then we also invite alumni back to share their industry experiences as well. Okay, so then in our school, we also have a student lounge to enable the students to mingle, relax, and have some fun. And then here, we have different, games and so on. And then hopefully, the students are also able to make new friends. Okay, and we also, before the pandemic, we tried to hold students, faculty, interaction sessions in the lounge as well. Okay, and then of course we have our school club, the CCEB club, okay, which organizes all sorts of fun activities and also welfare activities. But I believe that we have members from the CCEB club here who will share more afterwards. Okay, and then here is just a slide on the recently concluded activity. We had our first Avogadros Day, which was on 6/02, right? That's the Avogadros constant, right? So it's 6th of February. Okay, so then where we give out avocado toast and so on, and then the students had a lot of fun. Okay, so then the hope is that when students first come on campus, we have the orientations, then they are able to mingle, interact, and make new friends, and hopefully some of these friendships will last for a long time. And you guys can have cliques, good friends to hang out with and so on. And then we try our best to provide academic support and student care. Okay, so we run a peer tutoring program where we recruit academically stronger students to tutor some of the weaker students so that the weaker students can catch up and do better in their courses. We also have a pastoral care manager, whom students can turn to if they have all sorts of non-academic issues as well, like emotional issues, family problems, stress, so on and so forth. And then our pastoral care manager will try to help as best as he can. Okay, so I think that's all I have, and I'd like to end by saying that we hope that you will join us in the coming year, and then we are up and coming school, and then we hope that you will join us and to embark on this very exciting learning journey together. Okay, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. So this is a few of us from the student office. So that's me, and then Gordon is the pastoral care manager, and then you have Zahida and Hira who are here with us today in this call, and then up on the right side is Zhen Yang, who is the assistant chair of the student office. Okay, so that's all I have, and I turn the time over to the host.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tan. And right now, I will pass the time off to Qian and Crystal to share more about CCEB Club. Okay. Qian and Crystal, please show your slides.
Okay, thank you, Wenyan. Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Qian, and together with me we have Crystal. And today we'll be sharing on behalf of CCEB Club. We'll first do an introduction about ourselves, followed by an introduction of the club, its respective portfolios and initiatives, and finally, our takeaways from being in the club. So firstly, I'm Qian. I was from Nanyang Junior College. I'm currently a second-year chemical engineering student and also the president of the CCEB Club this year. I have a second major in food science, and I'm a recipient of the Nanyang Scholarship.
Hi, my name is Crystal, and I'm a year 3 undergraduate student taking CBC with a second major in environmental science. I used to be from Raffles Junior College, and I'm currently the vice president of student life in the CCEB Club. I also did the undergraduate research experience on campus, also known as Eureka. So I think I had a rather multifaceted undergraduate experience in CCEB. So next, Tian will introduce our club.
Thank you, Crystal. So moving on, what is CCEB Club? So CCEB Club is our school's academic club that takes care of our students' welfare, as well as organize events for our students to enjoy, socialize, and have fun in. We have different portfolios, and I'll be sharing their initiatives with you later on. Apart from planning events for our students, we also act as the bridge between the school and the students. With platforms like the annual student feedback survey, we help to convey comments and concerns students may have with regards to academic and student life to our school's admin staff and professors, and work hard to mitigate and resolve the issues raised. Next, I'll be sharing about the different portfolios. So firstly, we have the academic welfare, who is in charge of organizing academic-related events such as study groups, networking sessions, and quiz night. And we also have the logistics committee, which is in charge of managing and maintaining inventory and preparing logistics for club events. So one of the events that was jointly hosted by our academic welfare committee and our logistics committee is the study group X Food for Thought event, which our academic welfare committee was in charge of booking study rooms for students to study in when finals period was coming, and our logistics committee was in charge of stocking up the study rooms with snacks such as yogurt on the left here, and also packet drinks and fruits on the right, as you can see. Next, we have our business manager portfolio, who is in charge of sourcing for sponsorships for the school and the club. So this is one of our bigger events. It's the exam welfare pack collection. So when the finals exam are coming, we will host this distribution for our students. And as you can see here, our business manager committee managed to get a variety of sponsors. And one of the main sponsors was Avalis Financial, which allowed us to obtain cash sponsors, which we used to purchase bubble tea and ice cream for the students. So next, coming into NTU, it is encouraged to join our orientation, as you'll be able to connect with seniors and peers. And upon joining orientation, you'll be allocated to a clan. And our clan community comes in here where after orientation, they will continue to organize inter-clan and intra-clan events and bonding sessions to cultivate a strong clan culture in CCEB. So one of the events that they hosted recently was the Back to School event, where there was a carnival that was jointly hosted by our social committee, which Crystal will share more about later. And there were also inter-clan sports tournament and inter-clan chalkboard design tournament for our students, followed by a closing night and Chinese New Year celebration. So now I'll hand my time over to Crystal to share more about our other portfolios.
So next, we also have our publicity and publications team, also known as PMP, who work tirelessly to not only organize their own events like merchandise designing competitions and club photo shoots, but they also help to promote every single event and support other portfolios throughout the entire year. So you can see some of their best works featured on our CCEB Instagram over here. Next, we also have our social portfolio, who organizes most of our large-scale events, such as our Back to School Carnival and Avogadro's Day, as mentioned by Prof. Tan earlier, which had an amazing race, other than the food and drinks that were catered for them. So this provides our CCEB students with the opportunity to interact with each other, and they can make new friends and bond over fun activities and catered food. Finally, we have our sports portfolio that helps to organize the inter-school sports games and other sports games that CCEB students can participate in together, such as inter-clan sports activities. So next, altogether, CCEB Club has been an adventure in first-hand experiences as we learn and grow to make each event better than the last. I really enjoyed watching our different portfolios work together to create events beyond what each portfolio can organize on their own, so that we can collaborate on projects to amplify the fun. This therefore gave us the chance to explore many new event formats and allow us to combine multiple initiatives to bring CCEB a more diverse and fulfilling student life experience. We faced many difficulties along the way, but these setbacks allow us to learn from every event so that we can improve on the next one. And finally, as the first CCEB club, this was a great opportunity to leave a legacy and start new traditions that we hope future batches can improve on as well. So thank you so much. I'll pass the time back to the MCs for the Q&A.
Okay, thank you so much to Jian and Crystal for sharing about CCEB Club. Okay, so right now I will share my screen again. Okay, share. Okay. So after the sharing has been done, okay. So Gavin, would you like to, so participants, if you all have any questions, please leave them in the chat. It can be regarding the sharing done by Dr. Sumod or the sharing done by Prof. Tan or anything associated with CCEB Club as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll give about a minute for people to write down their questions. Is Gavin not here? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I will start by getting the ball rolling. Okay. A student asked that they would like to know more about scholarships and tuition fee assistance available. So perhaps one of the professors could share more on this topic. Perhaps Dr. Sumod?
Okay, so there is a large number of scholarship opportunities available. Different scholarships have different criteria and benchmarks, right? So so these scholarships are basically those that are available either university-wide or at the college level. So because the information is specific for each scholarship, what I would suggest is that maybe the student club can type into the chat box the website for the scholarship or the link, And then it's best that the students can go and explore that website for the scholarships and you look at what are the options and which of these scholarships are relevant to you and which are eligible to you by their own specific criterion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. Okay. So another question would be, okay, someone asked, when should they declare when they want to take a second major?
All right. Okay. I think I can take that question too. So majority of the second majors are offered at admission. So you can indicate your interest in a second major at the point of admission, right? However, there may be opportunities coming up even during your study, especially in the first and second year, when we will send out invites as and when vacancies appear for the second major. We will be sending out invites to the existing students for the second major if the curriculum of that particular second major allows students to join it after the first year. Right. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Prof. A student asked if they had a scholarship from an external organization, do they get into CN Young, USP, or REP, for example? Dr. Sumot, can you answer that question?
Yeah, I think if the CN Young or the other scholarship programs has their own scholarship coming with it, right? Then it may be an issue to concurrently hold another scholarship. Menghao, Raymond, do you have?
Right. So then the key issue here is the double dipping, right? So I mean, not just for students, but also for in working life and so on, right? You're not really allowed to use two pots of money for the same thing, right? So that's the concept of double dipping. Okay, so then if let's say you have let's say a PSC local scholarship, okay, and then you have been admitted into REP or CN Young, so my gut feel is that you can still be part of the CN Young program, you can also be part of REP and so on, and you follow the REP curriculum and so on. But whether or not the REP or CN Young allows you to take additional awards money from them or not is subject to the approval of both the NTU side and also the external scholarship side. Okay, so the policy actually does vary quite a lot. I mean, let's say you are talking about PSC scholarships, right? So then I actually had a similar situation many years ago when I was a student. So then there some of us were on the PSC scholarships, and then we were also awarded scholarships from the universities, right? So then the question is, are we allowed to take both at the same time, right? And I don't really know what is the prevailing policy right now, but this is something that you will need to check. So it's probably dependent on who is running the agency and what is the current policy. So then you have to check based on what agency it is. Yeah.
Let me address that portion. Okay, so typically if you are in the REP program or in the CN Young program, you will be under Nanyang Scholarship. And Nanyang Scholarship indeed has a clause that when you're holding Nanyang Scholarship, you cannot hold an additional scholarship concurrently. So once you're admitted to the program, actually the decision is which scholarship you would like to take. I would suggest that you can compare the scholarship quantum that is provided by CN Young program or REP compared with the external scholarships that you have, and then decide on which one is more suitable for you. One particular aspects that you might want to look at is not just the I guess the stipend or support that you have, but also that for CN Young and REP, both of them actually has an overseas component. So CN Young, for example, there's a component for overseas FYP, and then for REP there will be an exchange component in an overseas universities. So for Nanyang scholarship, there is a travel component in the scholarship. So you might want to check whether the external scholarship has that component and whether that would fit you.
All right, thank you, Professor Raymond. Another question that a potential student posed is, what are the expected results coming from applicants of international A-level students? Would any of the professors be able to answer that? Oh wait, sorry, apologies. Before that question, someone asked, the Yi-Ting who posed the previous question regarding scholarships followed up with the government stat board. So I would assume that they have a scholarship with the government stat board, and they are wondering if they can get to CN Young.
Yeah, as I mentioned early on, so external scholarship actually would not change the acceptance to any of the scholars program.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Okay. Okay. Okay, as for the expected results coming from applicants of international A-level students, are there any possible okay, are the profs aware of any if I'm not wrong, there are resources available for you to refer to past year results to judge, but just it's a rough estimate as to whether you're able to be admitted to the school based on your current results. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can go online to check for that. So yeah, that would be an answer to that question. Okay, my next question would be a more lighthearted one. Okay, for the CCEB club. Okay, how different is school life with university? So Crystal or Qian, you guys can feel free to answer that question.
Wait, sorry. Thank you for the question, but can I clarify? What's the question again? How is school life?
Oh, how different is school life with university?
So like being in the club lah, I would assume.
Yeah, or probably maybe the transition from like pre-university to university.
Okay. Okay, so I'll share my point of view. So for me, I was a student from junior college. So it is known that like the program in junior college is more rigorous and like demanding. So and back in junior college, when I was still in junior college, my timetable was very packed one. But I feel like coming into university, right, like our timetable are actually more relaxed, even though I'm taking a second major. Like I will try to find a photo of my timetable later, but there are a lot of empty gaps in my timetable. So for university, I feel like it's all about time management, because in university, like there are a lot of things that you can commit to. Like it doesn't have to be a leadership position, such as like being in the club running for a leadership position, because NTU has a lot of other activities that you can be part of. You can be part of your hall CCA, you can be part of NTU CCA. So actually, it depends on how you want to, what goals you have in university. If it's about academics wise, you will have the time to study, because yeah, as I said, there are plenty of time, like even during the week, I would say personally, like for you to study. But if you have other commitments, then that will be harder. So from what I know, like for people that like to dance, like they have this big event called HOCC. HOCC, then they will commit a lot of time to dancing. So it depends on your priorities. Yeah. But there are also like resources in school. I believe like just now, Prof. Tan Meng Hao mentioned that there are peer tutoring programs. You can seek help from your professors or the peer tutors anytime that you need. Yeah, thank you.
Just to add on a bit to Qiren, you are also okay. I guess another difference also from pre-university to university is really about, yeah, you really just have a lot of freedom in planning your own schedule to begin with. So it's entirely up to you how many modules you want to register for, how many per semester, or how packed you want your own timetable to be. So yeah, I guess it's really up. It's I guess this freedom is what sets university out from pre-university, because they treat everyone now as a full-fledged adult. So you are free to decide how much you want to take on and how much you think you can handle at one point in time. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you to both you guys. Okay, someone
Just a quickly add. I think the
sure.
better word is independence rather than free, right? So university, you are pretty much expected to be independent, living your own life, planning your own schedule, how hard you want to push yourself, how much you want to study, how you want to organize your life is entirely up to you. So you have a lot of independence.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Prof. Tan. Okay, so Shannon in the chat has asked a question. So she said, hello, I would like to know a few examples of internships for chemical engineering students. Like, what are the roles and responsibilities / tasks do they have / do during the internships? Would any of the professors be able to answer this question?
And I guess I'll answer that.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Raymond.
Okay, so really, if you're talking about internship roles, it really varies a lot. So even if it is just in one single industry, depending on which department you attach to, it can be very different. So I'll just give one example on ExxonMobil. So of course, we all know ExxonMobil is a chemical company, but what is it that you would be doing in a chemical company? So I visited a few times. So at one point, it can be that a student is trying to do a optimization projects to look at how can we minimize the amount of chemicals that goes into the flare column. So flare is a safety, I guess, features that a plant runs, and you're just burning off the excess chemicals. And once you burn it off, it's a waste of money. So you want to minimize it. So the students at the internship essentially would be tracing the line and look at the operations before the flare and see what are the things that they can do to minimize the amount of chemicals that goes into the flare. So that would be one type of operations, or one example of internship jobs that you'll be dealing with. And at the same company, we can also have chemical engineering students attached to ExxonMobil, but then in this case, he is not attached to the plant, but instead it is at the harbor front, their business units. So in this case, they will be looking at the blending of the fuels from the different sources, and the crude oils from different sources actually are of different quality. So they will need to analyze the quality of these oil and look at what would be the market values and what are the products that they can produce from these different sources. So essentially, it's economics, but done by chemical engineers, and essentially the analysis would have to be based on the knowledge that you have gained regarding the chemicals. So, I mean, there will be a lot more other different projects that is involved. So it's quite difficult to just give examples of everything because they would be quite unique and different.
All right, thank you, Professor Raymond. Okay, someone in the chat asked, I am an electrical engineering student in Poly. If I want to choose chemical and biomolecular engineering, what are the chances of me getting into this course? Would the professors want to, I think Dr. Sumod meant, Prof. Tan has unmuted himself. Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends on your whether you pass your math, because for us is math is a core requirement. And then I don't think chemistry is required per se, or biology is required per se. And then of course you have your cutoff scores and so on, right? Okay, so then for admissions, we set out a bare minimum of must have, which is, you pass your math, and then we have cutoff points depending on whether you're poly, A-level, IB, NUS high school, what have you. So all the different high school qualifications, we have all sorts of hard cutoffs, okay? But then beyond the hard cutoff, we are, on the whole, NTU is moving towards this concept called the aptitude-based admissions. And then so, the cutoffs tend to be set very high, okay? So basically, if you meet the cutoffs, you are basically pretty much a superstar, right? So we admit you with no questions asked. But then most of the applicants will not be superstars, right? So a lot of people will have like moderate GPAs, moderate grades, a mixture of A's and B's, occasionally some C's and so on, right? And then here is where, we are trying to pull out identify students who have the highest potential to succeed in our programs, okay? And then some of this, and then how do we identify these students who have the potential to succeed, right? And it really can vary quite a lot from school to school. Okay, like for example, I know some schools, they make all their applicants who are in this gray zone sit for a test. Okay, and then, they say that, well, we believe in our own tests, right? Especially the basic science schools, right? And then they say that you all have to sit for the test, and then we will pick based on the test scores. And then for us is we look at things like essays. We ask the students for evidence to show that, well, why do you want to join CBE, or why do you want to join BIE? What have you done to demonstrate, your interest, right? And then, through this, either through the essays or through the interviews, we get a better sense of, who you are as a person, and then we have to make this judgment call as to, are you likely to do well in our program and benefit from it? Okay, so this is something that's, we are moving more and more towards, and then, a greater proportion of the students that we are admitting now is going to be based on aptitude based. Okay, so no longer going to be a very hard cutoff. We demand you to have an X number of A's, that kind of thing. Okay, the cutoff is still there to admit those superstars who no questions asked, right? For sure it's going to do well. Then after that, there's this big band of students who we will, sift through and carefully look for a potential to do well in our program. So don't worry if you're in electrical engineering. If you're interested in CBE, please feel free to apply. And then, show us, demonstrate, why do you want to come to CBE, right?
Yeah, just to add on to what Prof. Meng Hao has mentioned, there is an interactive web page on the NTU website, the link for which I posted just now, where you can get a preliminary indication of how relevant is your diploma for a particular program in NTU. But like Prof. Meng Hao mentioned, even if you see that your particular poly diploma is not listed as relevant, you can still try putting in an application, because like he mentioned, we do take in extracurricular activities and other things into consideration during our admission evaluation. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, professors. Okay, someone else also asked, is it recommended for students taking chemistry/chemical engineering degrees to take a second major?
Okay, let me answer that. It's not mandatory. As I mentioned during my talk, a minor or a second major is purely your choice. It's something that you can choose to do. You can choose based on your interest. So it's not compulsory. You can just take the single major program, just chemistry, chemical engineering, or bioengineering. And if you want, you can choose either a minor to add on to it, or a second major if you're eligible for the second major, or a double degree program, again, if you're eligible for the double degree program. Yes, yeah, so it's not mandatory.
All right, thank you, Professor. Okay, I do not have any more questions on my end. I will leave the chat open for a bit more to see if there are any more questions from the floor. Okay. Okay.
I think there are more questions that were added. Wendy, I don't know whether you got the latest Excel file.
Oh, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyway, I can just read it out because I
Alright.
have it open right now. There's this question from Sarah. I see Sarah Kwa there. So she asked, I'm interested in both humanities and sciences. Are there options to study at CCEB while taking up a humanities subject? Right. So my own personal take is yes. Because we have electives, although I think Raymond and Sumo, you probably need to correct me if I'm wrong. But my own take is the elective can be quite flexible, and students can potentially stretch exactly what is the definition of an elective, right? Sumo and Raymond.
Let me follow up with that.
Yeah.
So what Suma was sharing early on with the BDE, the broadening and deepening electives. So those would be the options that students can have. So whether it is related or totally not related to your major. But since Sarah is interested in humanities, actually there is another program I think we didn't touch upon. That's the University Scholars Program. So it's another type of program that is actually combining the engineering and humanities. So if you're interested, you may actually look up on that particular program.
Yeah, and just to add on, as I mentioned, the minor is another route. So any student in any program, for example, if the student who asked the question is joining bioengineering, chemical engineering, or chemistry, any student on any single major program can take a minor in humanities, for example, right? Then for that, he or she just need to take a couple of courses, like 3 or 4 courses, and that will fulfill the requirement for the minor in humanities. Yeah.
All right, thank you, professors. I think the other questions posed in the Excel sheet has already been answered by the professors during their presentations. So yeah, if anyone on the floor has any more questions, do feel free to ask. I think. Okay. Oh, is there another question? Okay. I think there are no more questions. So I think we will stop the sharing session here. If anyone has any more questions, do feel free to contact us there's an email that was left in the chat. So yeah, y'all can email us at cceb-admissions@ntu.edu.sg if y'all have any further queries after this session. Y'all can scan the e-brochure over here using the QR code on the screen. Yeah, and y'all can complete the survey to give us a feedback on this session. Okay, thank you so much, professors. Thanks, Prof. Tan, Prof. Raymond, and Dr. Sumon for attending. Yeah, and thank you everyone from CCEB Club as well for attending. Yeah, and with that, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you so much.